Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, I'm going to take all of you garden enthusiasts through how I set up my drip irrigation. This video will not cover overhead, just only drip irrigation. If you're struggling with drip irrigation or irrigation in general, trust me, you're not alone. Today we're diving into a simple yet effective irrigation process that can transform your garden's potential. So whether you're a seasoned gardener or just getting started, understanding how to manage the water in your garden makes all the difference. In this video, I'll walk you through step-by-step techniques that will not only save you time and effort, but also help your plants thrive like never before. Are you ready to level up your garden experience? Let's get started. Well, we're going to come over here to the table first to walk you through some of the parts and pieces to drip irrigation and some tools that you will need as well. All right, so first I have just regular PVC pipe cutters. I use that. I'm just going to show you here. I can keep the camera on it. It just cuts right down through it. Makes it so easy to cut your main line down. So this right here is the main line. This is the line that you're going to be hooking up to your timer. Okay. If you don't, well, I say to your timer, I'm going to show you two different ways you can hook it up. And then this line right here is your drip line. So it has, let me get this. You can see right there, it's a little emitter. And this has 6-inch emitter spacing. So that's the next emitter right there. You can easily find it because the lines are the top of your drip tape and the bottom is blank. Okay, so you always want to install it with the lines facing up. You don't want your drip emitters facing down. You want them facing up. And then we have this tool right here. If you notice, so you see how it punches that little, I don't know what you call that, but that right there punches a hole in this tubing right here. I'm gonna try to do this with one hand. So it fits in there just like that. And remember always that the punch is coming out from this side. So when you're punching it, make sure that this side is the side that you want the to put your drip tape out. All right, so now that I have it on there, or all the way down in there, I just squeezed the trigger and you heard that click. So now it has punched a hole in the main line. And so I take that main line and I take my little adapter here with the barb end right there, and I punch that through the main line. So now I have main line and I have where I can run drip irrigation off of that main line. So basically I would attach this to there. Now, what you see right here is wrong, meaning you see how I have an emitter right here at the end? You can't put this over that with an emitter at the end. So you have to cut this off right here and then put this over your barb right there. All right, so just keep that in mind that every time that you cut this, unless you cut it like here in the middle between two emitters, you're gonna have to cut that emitter off, which I don't care. I just cut the emitter off because I want this space between my main line and my first thing I'm planting. If the first thing you're planting is right up against your main line, then you make your cut right there. Okay, very simple. Your first emitter right here, you can cut it right there and you'll be able to slide it over that barb right there. Okay, so let me show you something here real quick. You see the end right here? You see how it's not straight? What I did was I used some pruners, some shears to cut that in. And you see how it's jagged? You don't want that. All right, you see that? Nice clean edge on it. You want a nice clean edge because you don't want it to be dripping at that point right there. And then I just take it, I open the end of it up. And I make it so that I can slide that over this barb right here. Now, before I slide it over this barb, you see this part right here. If you turn it all the way to the left, it's all the way open. If you close it to the right, it's all the way closed. So you want to open it all the way up. Then you want to slide this over it. Remember, keeping your lines on top. And then you want to close this down. Okay, now when I pull against that, it's not coming out. That's what you want. All right, so when I go to show you this in my garden, you'll know how I set that up. Something else I want to show you at the end of your main line. So this is the very end. This is where your main line ends at. You're going to need some way to close this off so water doesn't come in there. I have these little adapters. They work the same way as those other ones I previously showed you. You screw it all the way to the left so it's all the way back. You push this up on there, and then you screw this back down to the right, and no water will come out of the end. They also make a less expensive option where you take the end of it and you bend it like that. Well, actually, I got to put this on first. I'm sorry. You slide this on here like that. Then you bend your end down. And then you just slide that back through there. And that will keep water from coming out of the end down here. They work just the same. I use these just because when I first bought drip irrigation, I had them, from then. And so I just keep using them. I use them over and over and over again. These things hold up. I've had some in the ground or on the ground for 2 or 3 years, and they still hold up really, really well. All right, and this part right here is at the very beginning of your drip irrigation setup, okay? You can hook this directly up to your house faucet and run all drip irrigation or main line from the end of this to your garden. What I do is I actually have a splitter at my house, and I run a hose off of this to another splitter to where I hook this up to right at my garden. And I'm going to show you that right now. So before we go over there, let me show you something. So these are goof plugs, okay? Let me show you. Wherever you've previously punched a hole, you can plug that hole up with a goof plug. It's not to say that you made a mistake here, but let's say that your spacing changes or something like that. You don't have to get rid of this whole hose. You just punch in a goof plug where you originally had your adapter there, and it'll stop the water from coming out of there. Also, these types of adapters are for the main line, and I'm going to show you how they hook up. All right, so that hooks in just like that. So I have main line over here, main line over here, and main line here. Now, in this scenario, the water is flowing this way, and then it comes out this way and this way. Why would you need that? Let's say that you have a garden area down there that you want watered, and you have something down this way that you want watered, but you don't want to water it the whole way, okay? This, you want to water start from here and going down. This right here, you connect it so that you can make this your new main line going this way that you can branch off of and water in a different spot. All right, well, now to the good part. So we're going to, now I'll explain how I have mine set up, and then we can talk about how most people would probably set up theirs. I have this hose right here coming from my house. On my house, I have adapter like this right here on there. And so I have one hose coming off of it, and it comes in right here. Okay, that's as simple as I can put that. And the reason why I do that is because I want a main water hub right here that I can use a hose, like a regular wand. This one goes to a regular wand. This one right here went to my overhead sprinkler that I had set up out here in the garden. And this one went to my drip irrigation. This one right here is potentially going to go to my greenhouse. And I will set up another kind of setup like this so that I can have a hose specifically for my greenhouse. Right now, I tote this hose back and forth, and I want to stop that. So that's why I have this set up right here. In a less complex setup, you could just run your water hose from your house to wherever you're going to have your drip irrigation. You can hook this directly to this. That's very simple setup. Hose from house, then hose into automatic water. That's as simple as it gets. So now I have my Rainbird timer. This is the timer that I love using right here. It's not very expensive. It's like 35 bucks. And sometimes you can get like a pair of them. You can buy a pair of them and it's like 50 bucks or something like that. So all of this stuff that I'm using will be down below in my description. Everything here you can get off of Amazon. So I will have one link that you can click on and see everything here in my Amazon storefront. Okay. So we got Rainbird. You can use whatever type of timer you want. They're all pretty much the same. I'm not going to go over how to work the timer, but this part right here is very important. So voila, right? So this right here has your backflow regulator. Okay. Why is that important? Because the water is going to come through here. It's going to go out and it's going to go out into your garden. When this turns off, water is going to shoot back up through here and go back through your hose. Some of that will make it back into your house water line. Not a lot probably, but some could possibly. And I just don't want that to go back in. So if you watch this real quick, and it'll show you what happens when you have the backflow regulator on. All right, I'm about to turn this off so you can see what happens. You see all that water? That's coming back out of the lines from the pressure and going back into wherever, right? But you saw all of it come out right here. That's because the backflow regulator won't let it go back through here. The backflow regulator stops it right here and pushes it out through these holes right here. All right, well, the next thing on there is your pressure regulator. I use a 25 PSI pressure regulator. Some people use 15, some people use 10. That could be kind of controversial with some people. They say that 25 is too much and it'll blow out your lines and it'll blow out your emitters and your connections. I've never had that issue, so I keep using 25 PSI. And this part down here on the bottom, it looks a little bit different than the one I'm using here, but it serves the same purpose. It connects to my pressure regulator, and this part down here is where I put my main line on, and it goes just like the ones I showed you before, how I slip the main line over that and tighten this down, and it's good to go. Like I said before, if you buy the complete set, I think that's the way to go. It's so easy, it takes the guesswork out of it. And you just don't have to worry about buying each individual part and putting it together. It comes together already just like that. All right, so next you have your main line and it runs down. So I have garden going that way and I have garden going this way. So right here, I have a T connector hooked up the same way that I've showed you before. And down here, everything's underground. So if you look, that bed, and that bed, and this tire, and that little bed, and that little bed, They all have drip irrigation running under the ground. Personal preference, doesn't matter which way you do it. I do it both ways, and here in the recent past, I have laid it on top of the ground. There's some things I don't like about laying it on the top of the ground, and I will talk about that shortly. All right, so we got my T intersection here, and then now I got main line running down here. So right here, so I have this one turned off. If it was on, it would be turned that way, like that. If you have to connect two pieces of drip line together, you use a connector like this, okay? You could also use that same connector to connect main line together. They work just the same, no difference, because the actual diameter of this is still the same as the diameter of that. Everything matches, all right? So I like to use these at the beginning of my rows because I can turn it off. They make some that are just a straight connector here, and it doesn't have this shut off valve on it, and so then you won't be able to turn this row off if you don't need it. Case in point, this row right here is off because I don't have anything planted in there. All right, another option that you can use, I only use this just to connect these two together. There was a hole up here and it was spraying water, and so I just used this connector to connect it. But if you wanted to, let's say you had the regular straight connector here, you could put this on the line and then turn it off like that. All right, bunch of different configurations and options. Now I'm gonna take you down here to the new lines that I just put down, and they are on top of the ground, as you can see. And the thing I don't like about on top of the ground, now I do need to buy some more staples to hold this down. I don't have any, but you see how it kind of comes up and gets crooked and whatnot. This one right here isn't too bad. This one right here is pretty straight, but you know, when they're brand, this one's an old one. This one's brand new. This one's brand new. You can see how it pops up right there. And this one's brand new. You can see a little kink in it right there. Now, none of that will affect it. When the water pumps through there, there's enough pressure that the line will expand, and it kind of flattens out with the water in them. But you can see that one on the end. It's a new one, and it got a kink in it down there. And so that's the one thing I don't like about laying it on top of the ground. But a very good pro about laying it on top of the ground is if I needed to get that line out of there for any reason, I can just go grab that line, pull it on up, and you know lay it back here, do what I got to do, and then lay it back down. So I do like that that option as well. So yes, down here I run drip irrigation on trellises as well. I think, you know, drip irrigation is definitely the way to go. I used to, right here, I had this sprinkler, and let me tell you, I love this sprinkler. Okay, it's a wobble head sprinkler. I absolutely love it. This sprinkler right here will cover from this carrot bed all the way on the other side of that raised bed right there. That's how far it will go. It'll go all the way up that hill, and it'll go all the way down there to those strawberries. That one sprinkler from right here. So there's a time and a place for it, but I did pull it out on this, you know, right now. But I'm gonna keep it here because I can always just set it back up if I need to do some type of overhead watering to a specific crop that I decide to grow here. And at the end down here, you put this little piece on there. I just had one in my hand. I will show you how to put that on one in just a second. But I ran out of them. And so as you look right here, I just used some electrical tape, folded it over a few times and just taped around it, and it keeps the water from running out of the end. So as you look at this, this is the big end and this is the smaller end. So you just take the big end. Actually, let me cut this. So if you have an emitter close to the end like that, it won't go in. You won't be able to put it in there. So you got to cut this just on this side of the emitter. All right, so I got it cut right there. And then this is the big end and this is the small end. See how much thinner it is? You want to run the thin, excuse me. You want to run this through the thin end first. Just like that. Okay, so I ran it through the thin end. And then I just want to fold this in a couple times. So you just fold it just like that. I mean, pull it back over that. Just like that. And that is how the end, how you keep the water from coming out of the end. All right, well, there you have it. That's a pretty comprehensive video on how I run drip irrigation. There's so much more to drip irrigation than what I showed in this video. If you would like a deeper dive into drip irrigation, please comment below and let me know if I need to do another video that really goes in depth on drip irrigation, because I use a different method of drip irrigation for my trees. For my muscadines, I use a different method of drip irrigation. Trying to see what else. I think that's about what else. But this drip irrigation, I have the same thing set up here that I'm going to set up on my umami garden, and then I'm going to set up on my ura garden. If y'all want me to take you along with me, and I can show you practical application of actually setting up the system, I'm more than happy to do so. Just comment below and let me know. Hey, I'm a poet and didn't even know it. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Oh, peanut gallery. There they go. All right, this thing is going off the wheels fast, or off the rails fast, I should say. Anyway, that's it on the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget, do all the YouTube stuff. I will have links. I'm gonna put right under the description. The first link underneath the description will be the Amazon link to everything, and that's probably the easiest route to go. And just go to that one, and it will bring you up to pretty much a folder of all of these items. Okay. All right. So thanks for coming along with me. Happy New Year to everybody, and I'll see you on the next video.